Hey guys.
Hey, what's up, bitches?
Welcome back to Comic and Other Cons. That's my dad.
That's my kid.
So today, on today's episode, we are looking at What If Episode 3. And this one specifically focuses on what if we lost Earth's mightiest heroes. Which admittedly I didn't know just from the title what they were going to go into. I figured it was like, what if they just didn't all agree to join? Or like if it fell apart and Coulson never died, because that's what really brought them together. So I was like, oh, maybe it's just that Tony Stark's line of "I don't want to join your super secret boy band" really came to fruition. This episode was not any of that. I didn't see any of that coming, like literally none of it, especially what happened to the Hulk. That was fucked up.
Then you got swole.
Yeah, but not in like the way anybody wants to be. So anyway, the episode opens up. Okay, so I have to personally say that I like had an entire moment. So I am also a Law and Order SVU fan. And so every time a Law and Order SVU episode starts, I know the opening like spiel by heart, like heinous crimes, New York City, the whole nine. And I say it proudly. Like I don't give a shit. I feel like I'm in a cult, but it's like a cult for a good cause, not like actual cults. Anywho, so this episode opens and it opens with basically the same cult-like reflex I had in my mind, because the first thing that is said is there was an idea. And my dad and I, we were watching the episode around the same time. We usually try to like play it even though we're in two different houses. And I had to pause for a second because I almost started to say the entire thing. And my dad and I do this thing where we text each other randomly, and it'll usually start off saying, there was an idea. And that is supposed to trigger between the two of us that like we say basically the entire spiel for the opening, like the first trailer for Infinity War, the one that got everybody like super excited, the one that lied to me very heavily on what scenes were going to actually be in the movie. I still feel some kind of way. Mr. Feige, the Russo brothers, fuck all of you in the nicest way possible, because that last scene where everybody's running in slow motion, I promise you, I looked for that scene throughout the entire movie, and I was very disappointed when the credits rolled and it never showed. So anyway, you guys are still awesome. I just needed you to know how I felt about that one part, because it still bothers me to this day. So anyway, he starts off with the speech, and that I already was in love with this episode because like I literally wanted to say the whole thing. And then Widow got in her feelings and she had an attitude and she cuts him off and like spouts it out as if she doesn't care, which I felt was disrespectful to me personally. She don't know me and she's not real, but I just felt disrespected.
I think what was funny about the way she did it was, if you look at the views for that trailer, it's like almost 300 million. So I took it as she was saying, yo, God, we've all, because I probably watched that video hundreds of times already. I mean, I watch it all the time. Even to this day, I still watch the video.
Agreed.
So I think that she was just like, we've all seen this video so many damn times. We know it, we love it, but we've seen it so many times. And like you said, everybody was probably saying, yeah, and we all started saying it, and then she just cut that shit off.
Yeah, she was done. She was over it.
Yeah.
And not only has the whole world heard it in the trailer, the whole world heard it in the first Avengers movie, because after Coulson dies and they're sitting around the table, that's when he gives the spiel about there was an idea. That was the first time he had ever said it in the MCU, was in that movie. And that's also when he threw like the bloody cards on the table, which I know he was trying to bring them together, but I was like, damn, are those actual collectibles? And you literally covered them in blood. Like now they're worthless. Or are they, because it's Coulson? So anyway, that was my first fangirl moment happened right then and there. And anyway, so then we meet Tony. He's inside of the donut. What I found interesting was that in the movie, it says Randy's Donuts on the donut, but it doesn't show any of whose donut place it is. Like we just assume it is because it's the same from the movie, but there isn't any like actual name on the donut, so they took all of that out.
Well, it's a real place, and I don't know, maybe because of the likeness, and it's probably a registered trademark or cop thing for Randy's Donuts. They didn't want to give Randy too much money.
More than they already gave him from the first time it cameoed?
Yeah, because fuck Randy. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well, so anyway, that's where we come up and we see Iron Man and he's in there fucking eating donuts, and they go through the whole spiel like they did in the donut place in the actual movie, and then like Widow stabs him with the thing, and it was supposed to be an antidote to help, the Tetris puzzle growing on his neck to, subside. And then he died in what seemed like maybe a very painful manner, which was unfortunate. And then, Widow's arrested because she was the one that gave him the antidote. Then the next part we get to see is Widow's being escorted out by a fucking Rumlow, that asshat. I don't like him because like he Hydra, and I know he's like still Hydra even in this moment, even though it's like pre him getting fucked up in the elevator by Cap. I'm pretty sure he's been Hydra since he was born. And while I don't want anybody hailing anything, if you have to hail something on this show, at least hail Hydra. But outside of that, shut the fuck up.
I like Rumlow. I mean, I hate him.
I like that a building fell on his face.
As an actor, I appreciate that Frank's in his 50s and he's still looking good. And he's not 57.
Unlike Drax.
But he looked good. So he be working out, hitting the gym, and I can appreciate that. He's still a douchebag, but yeah.
I'm gonna appreciate the building that falls on his face a few movies later. But so anyway, Widow is escorted out. Now, mind you, I'm confused. Fury handed her the little tube so that she could go and figure out what the hell happened. So like she don't have any, like nothing on her is loose. It's not like she was like wearing a sweatshirt and she slid it up. Everything is skin tight. And so you're telling me that they let her get on the truck first and nobody saw that thing in her hand as she steps up onto the truck? Like no, but not a soul. Not a soul. Okay. So we'll just pretend that really happened. She gets on.
I'm going to tell you, there's a bunch of men and nobody was looking that high up. They were all probably looking at her ass.
Her hands are far from her ass.
With the first time we see Scarlett Johansson and she's on the helicarrier and she's walking on the bridge with Bruce Banner behind her, that camera's right on her ass. And Scarlett had a fat ass in the movie. So I'm telling you, she could have been holding a dildo, and she almost was. They wouldn't have seen that. So they saw the ass.
Thank you for that less than enlightening perspective. We'll just move right along. Just put your hands down.
Ass.
Put your hands down. Put your hands down. In addition to that, she somehow gets out of the handcuffs and like hands it to the guy, and he's like so out of it. And he's like, yeah, sure. Wait a second. I don't know that I've ever seen anybody fuck somebody up in the same way that she did on this truck. Like, I don't know. She might have, minus the strength piece, fucked people up almost as bad as Captain Carter. She just didn't have the same strength. But she just, her leg went here, and then it went here, and then it went back over here, and then she did something else, and she needs some guy in the face, and she punched this guy like 12 times.
Well, I think that was a nod to, in fact, we know it was a nod to the elevator scene where Cap fights Rumlow's team.
Right.
And mind you, she had to do it in a graceful manner because she doesn't have super strength. Cap was all about muscle in his thing, because everybody he hit, you heard bones and shit cracking,
right,
and fucking cartilage and shit tearing. There's a lot of rehab for people. Punching motherfuckers up in the air.
Drug and physical.
Yes. So that was why, but hers was incredibly graceful in a martial arts sort of way. All I know is that right leg or the left leg, got a hell of a workout because at one point she fucked a bunch of people up with one leg.
I was just saying, it went here and then it went here and then it went here.
Yeah.
It had kneed somebody in the face, and then she just did that one move where she punches and kicks somebody. I don't know. I appreciated that scene for everything that it was.
All of Rumlow's team had Timberland written all over everywhere. She was fucking them up. So.
And there was one guy, I had to freeze the frame to just make sure I was catching it. There was one guy in the actual back of the truck when Rumlow opens the doors. He was smiling while being knocked out. I don't know.
Because he was looking at that ass. I'm trying to tell you, son. He was looking at that ass.
We're not having this discussion.
Okay. I've been beat up by some ass before, and I had a smile on my face when I was.
We're definitely not having this discussion.
I know that look.
We're definitely not having this discussion.
Okay.
Great.
Well, it's not a black video or anything unless somebody drinking in it. So.
Oh yeah. So then everybody moves to we shift into Coulson, and he is at the location in New Mexico, which apparently, thank you, all of my Spanish lessons. The name of the town means bridge. Forgot, it's something else, bridge. And it's a nod. That's the same name that it was in the movie, and that's a nod to the Rainbow Bridge. Fun fact. And so everybody was obsessed with Thor, like legit obsessed with Thor, to the point where we were very hyper focused on his hair for about 5 solid minutes. The descriptors that Coulson gave were impressive.
That was some man loving shit.
He has a lot of man crushes between Captain America and now Thor and his hair.
Oh yeah.
And the
well, remember he didn't have Cap this time,
right?
So they had to go with Thor because right now there's no Cap.
Right. He may still have the man crush on Cap because he had all the collector's cards. He just didn't express the man crush because Cap was still a capsicle, but he still has the man crush, I'm sure.
Did he bring up about having Cap cards?
No, but he didn't bring up having cards of anybody. But I don't think that would have changed. I feel like Coulson would have still, because at the end of the episode, we see him wiping the ice away. So we know that Captain America still existed. Right. So I'm sure he is equally as in love with him. He just happened to have the god Thor right there with all of the hair. So the Chippendale dancer.
Fabulous hair.
Right. It was gorgeous. The Chippendale dancer arrives to the scene after whooping everybody's ass to get to his hammer. And in the same fashion that he did in the movie where he's like swaying his hair in the rain, he does here. As he gets ready, of course, to grab the hammer.
Don't forget Jackson, who does CrossFit, couldn't lift that hammer. So we don't know what he's getting ready to do.
Also, Jackson is actually a person in the movie, in the actual movie, like Delancey, I think was his first name or something. Anyway, he does CrossFit and he can't lift it. So just prepare yourselves. So everybody's obsessed with Thor, even when he's dead and rotting on an autopsy table. Apparently he smells like lavender. I'm not sure who thinks to like get that close to a dead body to genuinely sniff it other than Coulson. I think the only other time that anybody's ever been that close to to Thor, was when they picked him up, they being the Guardians of the Galaxy, picked him up when he hit their ship's windshield and Rocket wanted to get him away. And then everybody was obsessed with him because he was like a space pirate or something, or pirate angel, and he had muscles and they were in love with him. And Peter Quill had to like be very manly. Yeah, no, there was a lot happening with the sandwiches and, one sandwich away. So then we shift into where Bruce is and we're trying to find him. So Natasha finds his old love. And
well, wait now. Okay. We skipped over that Hawkeye shoots him and kills him.
Right. Okay. Yes. So Hawkeye shoots him with an arrow. We had a discussion
then they lock Hawkeye up.
Right. Oh,
because
that's right.
he
And then he
appeared to
died.
kill him. Yes.
So we
So-
we had this discussion because you were like, he wouldn't have died from an arrow, but then we talked about it and I was like, well, he also didn't have like all of his godly powers because, you know, he was banished for starting an unnecessary battle on one of the other 9 realms. And so you said maybe he could have potentially like died because he was
Yeah, that mortal
God
weapon
player, so.
would not have been able to have killed Thor in and of itself. If it was an Asgardian weapon, then yes. Or, you know, a weapon of magic, then yes. But just as a standard arrow, that should not have been able to have killed him. But his power was taken from him when he was cast down. So
One of us.
he got busted in the ass. So
So then they lock up Hawkeye, and Hawkeye's like very confused, sitting in his cell. And then I think
the same cell
that Loki
that Thor was in when Coulson first came in and talked to him and asked him where did he get his training and all that stuff, and then he left.
Oh yeah.
And then Loki projected himself into the cell.
And then said,
yeah.
"Are you never gonna stop falling for this?"
Right.
Father's
dead.
Right. So then they go inside, and he was sitting in the same position where he looked like he was distressed, and that's when they realized that he was dead. And I can't believe that Coulson's first thought was that he just took a cyanide capsule. But I mean, I guess that could potentially be a thing. He used to be a super spy and assassin, so maybe.
But that's why Fury brought up, no, the man is married and he's got children. I don't see him, I don't see him taking no bitch way out.
Right. So we fucking sidetrack Coulson's theory of whatever foolishness he came up with, and that's when we end up with the Chippendale lavender scented gentleman on the table next to him. And then we shift into Thor, or I'm sorry, Bruce. And we find out that he was hiding in the closet. Oh my God. Was he trapped in the closet, or was he just hiding there? We'll never know at this point. So he was there, and that's when Natasha needs to escort him out. And I still don't know where, and maybe I just needed to rewatch the episode again. I still don't know where that bullet came from that had Hank on it, like where it was shot from, because unless he just launched himself into Bruce's arm to throw that, that disc into his heart. Because it wasn't like they said no one shot off. So I'm guessing Hank just maybe miniaturized himself and shot through and went into his arm.
I suspect with all the Thor action that it was Coulson who shot off. It is very probable when we understand the reveal later on that it's Hank, is that he could have caused the person to fire
himself.
So he could have done it, again, somebody fired it. So, or he could have had a gun set up to automatically fire.
I think it was just him in a miniature size because he can fly and he's super strong, and it made it.
But there was the sound. But there was the sound of the bullet. There was a sound of a gun firing. Clearly.
Well, we'll have to figure out that theory for another day.
Yeah. They didn't show you everything, but I'm saying it.
Right.
He could have had something set up to where he had a gun, and it automatically fired. Or when they were there, he had it set up. How he knew all of these people were going to be there is a whole nother story. But he set up a gun that fires automatically, some Mission Impossible shit.
Right.
And he was already on the bullet.
Right.
So
meanwhile, in another part of town, Reindeer Games and friends decide to drop in for a few minutes to talk about,
Let us not forget the Easter egg of Stanley's pizza delivery.
Oh, yeah.
Hat and jacket. Since they didn't have an actual Stan Lee cameo,
right?
They used the Stanley's, as Stanley, the pizza thing. So
that was nice.
With their broke ass. So yeah.
So back to Reindeer Game. So he and pretty much all of Asgard just drop in via the Rainbow Bridge. And the Destroyer is with them. And this is probably the first time, and maybe it's just because it's in this universe where oh wait, no, I think he does claim it in the MCU like movies, where he claims not only to be the rightful or to be the crown prince of Asgard, but also the rightful king of Jotunheim. And then he has this little ice box with him that he just starts firing off left and right because he's pissed. And it wasn't until Sif was like, chill the fuck out, pun intended. And then he stopped.
But that also means, well, one, he was correct about the prince of Asgard, because Thor, who would have been next in line, was just killed. Right. So he is automatically now the prince of Asgard, and will hopefully move on to be the next king. What it also says is, in this universe, much like Sylvie, Loki was made aware that he was adopted and that he was from Jotunheim. Now, to the only thing that I found fascinating is this time when Loki picks up the casket of Ancient Winters and uses it, he does not turn blue. So that, I don't know if that was a miss or what, but he doesn't turn blue when he picks up the casket.
Right.
So
he is very highly disturbed by the cell phone, though. So maybe
yes,
that.
Well, I think that was also a callback to Ragnarok, where Thor was with Surtur and he started spinning around and said, "Wait, hold it, just wait a minute, I'll come back around."
Right.
I'm telling you, I'm not doing anything. So yeah.
So yeah, so there's the callback to the first Avengers movie where he mentions that you should kneel before God. I was really kind of hoping that since he said it, that he might have screamed it later, like in the same way.
No!
But he didn't. But it's okay. It was still enough of a callback where it counts, and I'll take what I can get of Tom Hiddleston.
But also it could also have another joke running gag with Bruce and Rhodey going to Wakanda.
Right. That they should bow.
We don't kneel. We don't do that.
Yeah. So back to Natasha, because Natasha and Fury just got off the phone. They were one-upping each other about the situations they were in. And this is the part where, so after they shoot Bruce, somebody shot him. He turns into the Hulk, Hulk smash. He's jumping down, smash the tanks, and a bunch of other shit. And then in a very unexpected fashion, he just fucking blows up. I was very.
He started swelling and growing, and
I was very confused watching it, and I felt really bad because I can't imagine that must have been painful.
Yeah, I'd imagine it was.
And
that's some high blood pressure right there.
Right, which then now I'm wondering, because at the end of the episode, there's all those caskets. I can't imagine there's really anything in his. Maybe it's just more symbolic, but So,
but also the cafe that Fury was in with Coulson is the same one that is the callback to when Coulson did the Marvel one-shot, where he's with the bald head guy who turns out to be the Hydra guy, and they did
the light skinned guy.
Yes, where they have their day out and fuck these dudes up. They were in that cafe, if I'm not mistaken. So okay. There's about 1 billion Easter eggs in this particular episode.
Yeah. So now Bruce is dead. So that's 4 at this point. Bruce.
Widow does the superhero landing when she jumps off jumps off the overpass.
Yeah.
So her sister would have pointed that out.
Her sister's not here. She's somewhere in.
But if she was, she would have pointed that out she's a poser.
So we're now down 4. Iron Man, Thor, Hawkeye, Hulk. So 4 down. So Natasha goes to a Manassas fucking library. I mean, like, it was just very strange to see that it was specifically Manassas. And that's only because I work in Manassas. And so I just wouldn't have expected that. I don't know. I don't know where I would have expected, but I felt like I'm not Manassas. So anyway, she's on the phone with Coulson and she's like, I'm fucking wanted for murder and I've been locked out because I fucking murdered somebody. So I need your password. And Coulson's like, no, I'm not going to give you my password. And she's like, no, come on. Like, you were Clint's friend too. And I want to figure this out. And he's like, fine. Hashtag Steve, I heart Steve 0704. Well, this is where we knew that Coulson still had a man crush on Steve because of his password. So even if he was obsessed with Thor in this video or in this episode, he was 100% still like Team Cap because his password is like all over. And this is like a nice little like ode to Steve's birthday, which is July 4th, 1918. So it also just happens to be, one of the most patriotic days, I guess, in this country. So it just works out that Captain America, it was also born on the day that America became America. So nice little ode to Steve. Hey, Memes.
Mimi says hello.
Mimi looks a little odd in that shot, like you're forcing her, which I know you are, but
yeah. Anytime I got pussy on my lap, I'm forcing it. So,
all right. Please don't. We can't say that. We definitely can't say that.
Oh, I guess I should get the cat off my lap then.
Okay. So then Coulson gets swept up when the Rainbow Bridge drops, which is almost in a similar fashion to the way that Jane was when she first hit Thor with her car. And that's when, they all arrive. And at that point, we've now discovered, because Natasha figures out that it's Hank, because somebody who died, his daughter, Hope, logged on to the system a few days ago, even though she's been dead for 2 years. So she figures it out. She calls Fury. She realizes that the culprit is behind her. She gets fucked up all up and through this library. And we don't actually know what happened to her. We pretty much know she dies. We just don't know how. But she gets
out. It looked like an invisible assailant. It's right. What it looked like.
But she gets just enough out in a voicemail to Fury to let him know it's Hope. It's all about Hope. And he listens to that voicemail like 3 times before he figures out what it was. And so he goes and seeks out the Destroyer to talk to his boss. And he and Loki come up with a plan, I guess. And we don't know what that plan is. We just see Fury at Hope's grave. And there's quite a bit that hints that Fury is acting out of character. But you could just assume that he's like egging Hank Pym on as opposed to anything else. Now, what really stuck out to me when like Fury was talking to Hank was when he said, I don't give a damn about any of them. And I was like, maybe he said that to just like piss him off. But then when he starts naming all of the people who died, he calls him Anthony Stark, not Tony Stark. And I feel like because like Asgard knows them from a different viewpoint, that would have been something that he said as Loki instead of, because he would have just called him Tony if that was Nick. And so then that's when they start fighting, and he said, "You're pretty spry for a guy who sits behind a desk." And I feel like he was assuming that maybe he was 57, and he found out that he wasn't. So
that was a callback to Captain America with Iron Man.
Right. So they start, fighting, and I was actually really surprised at how quick like Fury was to be able to hit him when he was tiny. And that's when I was like, there's something different about him. There's no way that Fury was like able to do that. And then
not just to hit him, but to see him.
Right.
To hit him.
Right.
And to be able to move with that speed. It's the whole idea is he's so small, you couldn't have seen him.
Right. So that's when I really was like, no, something is different here. There's no way that Nick Fury did that. And then of course we see him like appear and disappear, and then there's like 100,000 of him with the evil laugh, and he turns back into Loki,
Yep.
who had a real good time with that. And the only time that you see Nick, when Loki is being Nick, get very, very serious was when he started asking questions about Thor, because he really didn't give a shit about the other ones per se when they died. But then when he asked about Thor, and it seemed like Thor was just an unfortunate casualty just cause, that's when he started like really kind of getting serious. And so at the end, he finally captures him, takes him away. Who the fuck knows what they're gonna do to him in Asgard?
Nothing good.
Right. And then somehow it turns into he is now ruling Earth. I don't really know how that happened, that he rules Midgard now.
He chose to stay. And remember that this whole action from Asgard was sanctioned by Odin. Because Odin let them all, in fact, they even said as much, that the All-Fathers, grieving because of Thor, that they all came down to Asgard, and Loki was representing Asgard,
right,
as his role as the prince. And none of the Warriors 3, nobody, Sif, none of them, gave him any grief. They were like, he's in line now. What could they do? So this Loki was different in that respect. Like, he wasn't hated.
Right.
So
I was just surprised that Earth was just like, fuck it, let's do it. We're in. I was like, yeah, it was like one day later. It was literally Friday. It was Thursday and then Friday, and he was like at the UN talking about, thank you for caving. I was like, we fucking bitched out in 12 hours? What the fuck? How?
Because all of the Avengers who would have stopped Loki in the first one were no longer there. He saw to find what Loki came down. I'm sure he was probably granted permission from Odin to, I don't care what you do with it, as long as you find out who the killer was of Thor. And he got that, and they took him away. So look, I'm sure Loki's reward from Odin was do what you want to do with him. I don't care. So yeah, they and of course he gives the speech he gave
in Germany.
And
at Avengers 1, after he takes that guy's eye out.
Yes, you all want to be ruled, so yes. I mean, it was not a good time for that Earth.
I mean, I'm just gonna stick in whatever other Earth I was in, and that we just gonna leave it there.
Well, another thing that was interesting is earlier, Fury takes out the pager to call Captain Marvel, but he doesn't call Captain Marvel
because he figures out that it's Hope, and he can enlist Loki.
But no, he didn't call Captain Marvel right there. But ultimately, he does call Captain Marvel because
I think he does after, right?
Yeah,
but
it's off screen
because of Loki. Right.
Oh yeah, no, it's off screen.
Yeah, no, he figured out what Widow's message meant, and so I think that's what triggered him to be like, we don't need it, we got it, but we'll call her later because now this asshat is staying.
But I also think he saw the Avengers dying, and he probably wasn't absolutely trusting of Loki or the Asgardians. So he called Captain Marvel off screen, off camera, that we didn't get to see it. That's why I think she showed up. And I don't know if this is a one part and that's it, or is this going to continue? Because this didn't end like the others.
So the trailer for the next one,
which I haven't seen the trailer for the next one. So
I haven't either, but it's called, Oh, they don't have the title of the episode. It's just called What If. So I'll have to watch this after, but I haven't seen it.
Right.
But I plan to watch it after we record this. But it looked like it was something involving Doctor Strange and Iron Man.
Right.
So I don't know if that's continuing yet, but from what I've seen of people's theories, they think that this What If season will somehow connect all together for, the universe.
Well, I do know that I did see a scene where Doctor Strange and Captain Carter were fighting, and I think they were fighting zombies, or they were either fighting zombies or they were fighting the Ultron robots. I forget which one it was, but they were definitely together. And then old Party Thor comes in. So,
and the Watcher was cited 4 times during the episode, with a 5th time during the credits, where it was just like the concept art.
He's been seen more and more with each episode.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this time he doesn't end it with cannot, will not, shall not interfere. He didn't say any of that. That's what led me to think that this is going to be a continuation now, that the episode didn't end with his usual speech. Or maybe he's not always going to give that speech, but he has in the first 2. So, well, this was very good.
Mm-hmm.
If you are an MCU fan, you got Easter eggs, callbacks galore.
Right. Much like in the episode with T'Challa, there were lots of callbacks.
Yes. Yes, there were plenty of callbacks in this one for sure. And it was just another good MCU showing, another good MCU outing. I loved all of it, and I don't have much, if anything, to add to what you've mentioned. It was all very good, and I think you hit most of the important points. It's the kind of show that every single time you watch it, you will find something different in there. And that's why when you watch a variety of people do reviews and talk about the show, there's always something a little different with everybody. They noticed this, or I saw that scrap of paper that was over there. It said something, and they noticed that. And that's the beauty of all these different reviews, is that you get a lot of different perspectives from people, what they saw, what they thought.
Or different fan theories that pop out of, wherever. And some of them are really interesting, and you're always waiting to see like which one of these fan theories that I heard or mine is going to be a thing.
Because now we're all on the same level field now.
Mm-hmm.
No one has 3 episodes. A lot of the bigger reviewers, they all got the first 3 episodes, so they already knew what was going to happen for the first 3. Right. But now all of us are on the same level playing field, so we will all have to wait until next Wednesday to see it. What I do wish, as I told you before, kid, I wish that Marvel would do what a lot of other shows do, but so far Disney doesn't do that. I don't know why. They should have a set time that the thing comes out. Not 3 o'clock in the morning Eastern, not 12 o'clock Pacific. Put it out at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock Eastern, 5, 6 o'clock Pacific, whatever that, and then guess what? That will give a huge trend and surge in social media, because everybody will see it at the same time, lessening the chance of spoilers,
right,
and whatnot, that for people who haven't, seen these things that, and I know other people, they complain about that, they hate that. It drops at, people all staying up till 3 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast to watch the thing, do reviews, and but I wish that they would do that. I think that would be better. So you're still going to get plenty of views,
right?
Still going to get plenty of social media,
right?
But for whatever reason or another, they choose to do it that way, and I guess that's just going to be the way that it is. I do want to say that I have on my spiffy watch here today, show you what I'm wearing today. I'm wearing this because it reminds me of the opening sequence for Marvel. And this is an Invicta Bolt Zeus graffiti. So, and as you can see, it's a hydroplated graffiti watch.
That's hydroplated, not hydra.
Yeah.
And plated. There's
And
one word.
And it reminds me of the opening sequence of the MCU movies and TV shows.
Right.
So that's the watch I have on today. But yes, another, I have to give it another big Comic and Other Cons 2 thumbs up because it was very good. A lot of good action. It's good to know that Asgardians, even when they're dead, they smell good.
Humans don't, so I mean, they have that.
The other thing that we can call our little Nexus event is that Coulson had another man crush on somebody. And he seems to have them. I mean, woman and all. I'm surprised when he went to Tahiti, that other magical place, that there was no man crush he had on anybody.
I mean, he's dead as fuck, so.
So yeah, but still, yeah. So another great episode. Yeah. Thank you, Marvel.
Agreed.
Thank you, Marvel. Thank you, Victoria Alonso. So yeah.
I am still salty about that trailer. So I just wanted to make that full circle. So we are very excited for this next episode, which airs on Wednesday. Like my dad said, we are now all on a level playing field. So for everyone who got to see the first 3 episodes before everyone else did, welcome to your seat on the couch. Now you know fucking nothing. But you know what? I say that as if I'm like salty about it, as if we haven't been at Comic-Con and fucking gotten to see the first like episode of a season before everybody else did, or the first like 20 minutes of a movie and no one else has seen it and it's not coming out until like fucking December. So I just, I'm not going to be salty because we've done that. Like we've played video games before it's come out. I mean, there was that one time at Comic-Con that I was like obsessively playing. I think it was a DC game. It might have been a Marvel and a DC game. There were 2 separate ones. But I was like obsessively playing it, and you were like, "Are you fucking done? Like, let's go. There's shit to do." And I was like, "No, one more round. We're good. It's fine." So, but
I don't like you being a kid, and we have to go through the Staples or office to go get something. You had to get that keyboard. You always had to hit that.
Light switches or the light switches.
Yes, always had to do it. So
it was just my thing. It was my quirk.
Yeah.
So now we're all in the same vein, as it were. So welcome to the couch. Enjoy the show. We'll be right there with you. We will be probably recording and filming, hours many days after everyone else, because we have to fucking go to sleep. Like we're not gonna wait until midnight and I'm watching it now, and then no, I gotta go to sleep. I got shit to do. I gotta go to work. I just can't. I work in healthcare. I don't have time for this.
And Wednesday for me is a gym day, so I gotta sleep Tuesday night into Wednesday.
And I gotta sleep Wednesday night because Thursday is softball. So like I don't have time to be exhausted during softball nights. So we'll get it up. It'll be on the internet. No. If you get to have your moment, I get to have mine. We're now
okay. All right, we'll get it up. We will get it up. Don't worry.
So we'll post the video, shortly after we film it. So no worries if you are anxiously waiting for us, which would be incredible because you just met us and none of you know us.
And they're also waiting for that peck pop. So I gotta give it to them.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I'm sure.
Yes. So there you go.
We are now not even. Remember when I said that line and I made us even, and then you did that and now we're not. But I'm not one-upping you. I'm not going to participate in this. It's not a pissing contest. So we look forward for you joining us on our next one. We are also seeing Shang-Chi opening weekend, and so we will post a video on Shang-Chi Shang-Chi, excuse me. So we will be posting the video, just talking about that, connecting it. I will make sure that when I post it, the video for Shang-Chi, especially, that I put like spoilers, because we don't give a fuck about how you feel. Like, you should have watched it, but we'll make sure.
Yeah, if you haven't watched episode 3 by now, why haven't you? So
right, I will still put spoilers in the title, but just like get your life together, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't.
So we would, of course, like you to like the video and subscribe. Hit that notification bell, because we're here for you.
Right.
We just fucking around with each other, because that's what we do. We
That
also
sounded really bad, but
yes, we also do a lot of New York Comic Con. We just haven't been last year and won't be going this year because of COVID. This year, especially with the Delta variant, whooping people's ass. So we're just not ready, even though we're fully vaccinated, but it's just too big of a risk. And I'm still surprised that they're having it, but considering that they canceled the auto show like 2 weeks before the auto shows, I'm surprised New York Comic Con is still going on.
Right.
With the Delta variant running rampant.
But they may
people
still
coming from all over the United States, all over the world to go to New York Comic Con. It's a potential disaster, but that's a whole nother story. We won't be there, but hopefully, once we are all boosted up and everybody's good to go, hopefully things will mellow out more with COVID. More people will get vaccinated, and we'll feel safer for us and for everyone attending,
right.
And everyone that they have to go back to who didn't attend to go to Comic-Con next year. And yes, we love us some Comic-Con. We love us some cosplay.
Yes.
And we will be doing interviews and reviews at Comic-Con live and recorded as well. So we are definitely looking forward to that next year.
Yeah. So 2022. And if you follow us on Instagram, we also post pictures of things that we do when we cosplay, or things that we do related to comic books or not. But definitely when we were creating our costumes the last time in preparation for Comic-Con in 2019, we posted pictures and videos of like the transformation of the Gamora spacesuit that I wore. So it started off as just like one full white leotard, and then my dad, the wonderful airbrush artist that he is, airbrushed basically the entire suit on. And we took pictures and video of it as it was created over time. And that was a full day project. My dad worked on his stuff that day. I made sure to take care of the wig, and which at some point I'm sure I have to just like go in and make sure that it's doing okay, since we're not.
I mean, you laid those ends down.
I did.
It was beautiful.
Laid and slayed.
I had to touch myself. It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
So we'll probably post pictures and short video of that on our Instagram page while we're kind of updating, because I am gonna try and get another outfit for Gamora. So I hopefully will have more. I think I have 3 now, so the hope is to have 4, and potentially, since we haven't had Comic-Con in 2 years, there might be opportunity for us to go. We normally only go Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but maybe we'll shoot to try to go Thursday in 2022, just because we've literally not been in 2 years. And why fuck it? Why not? I don't know.
Jones, and we're like,
right.
We need that shit. We're gonna mainline it.
Yeah. So we'll be on Instagram doing videos and interviews, as well as like YouTube doing doing videos and interviews. So just look out for those. Of course, that's in a year, but you'll see all of our other videos and content. So we're very excited to have you.
Thank you all for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Please wear a mask, or like get vaccinated, or just fucking do something. I don't know. Do something wise.
In between that,
life.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah, and make good choices.
Liking and subscribing.
Agreed. I mean, all of these points are important. So just just follow those directions. Have a good one.
Thank you.